You won't hear this on the news. Most doctors don't say it out loud. But behind closed clinic doors, one question keeps coming from older patients, whispered with embarrassment. Doctor, is it still safe to pleasure myself at my age? And the truth? There's one serious health risk most seniors don't even know exists. And if you're over 60? This harmless habit could quietly be doing more damage than you realize. Let's talk about it, openly, respectfully, and with wisdom. Welcome to Elderly Life, a place where we celebrate the beauty of aging and cherish every moment. If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. For decades, it was taboo. Masturbation, a topic people didn't speak of, especially as they aged. But let's be honest. Just because we grow older, doesn't mean our human needs disappear. The desire for intimacy, touch, and release still lives within us. And many seniors, especially those who are widowed, divorced, or living alone, turn to self-pleasure as a way to feel connected, relaxed, and alive. And in many cases, yes, it can be healthy. It can release stress, help with sleep, boost mood through endorphins, to even support prostate health in moderate amounts. But here's where the danger comes in. After age 60, your body is not the same. Your heart, your nervous system, your hormones. They respond differently to physical stimulation. And in upcoming parts, we'll explore the specific hidden risks that many older adults don't know about. Because when done too frequently, or under the wrong conditions, masturbation can trigger serious problems, especially in older men. For a man in his 30s, the heart can take a lot. Fast stimulation. Sudden spikes in adrenaline. But after age 60, that's no longer the case. Masturbation may feel private and simple, but what happens inside your body is far from small. During climax, your blood pressure rises. Your pulse quickens. Your blood vessels constrict. Your heart is forced to pump harder, sometimes much harder than it should. For a healthy younger man, that's manageable. But for someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, it can be risky. Doctors have documented cases where older men experience irregular heartbeat, arrhythmia, dangerous spikes in blood pressure, dizziness or chest pain afterward, and in rare, serious cases, minor cardiac events during or after climax. These symptoms are often brushed off. Oh, I'm just tired. It's probably my age. But in truth, your heart could be telling you, slow down. I can't handle this the way I used to. Especially if you have a history of heart disease, you take blood pressure medication, or you've experienced shortness of breath during daily activities. Masturbation becomes more than just a release. It becomes a physical test. And too much strain, done too often, can quietly push your heart toward danger. The prostate. A small gland, the size of a walnut, hidden deep inside a man's body. It sits quietly beneath the bladder, surrounding part of the urethra. And while it doesn't make headlines in our youth, after 60, it can suddenly become the center of a man's health. Here's what most older men don't realize. Every time you ejaculate, whether through sex or masturbation, your prostate contracts, releases fluid, and is physically stimulated. Done occasionally, this can help keep it healthy. But if done too often, especially in later years, it can backfire. Doctors are now seeing more and more cases of prostate congestion, chronic inflammation, prostatitis, swelling and discomfort, and even increased urinary problems due to overuse. Imagine working the same muscle every day without rest. Eventually, it becomes irritated, inflamed, and swollen. That's exactly what happens to the prostate when overstimulated, especially when combined with age-related enlargement, BPH. Some men begin to notice pain or pressure in the lower pelvis, burning when urinating, a frequent nighttime urination, or even a weak stream that feels incomplete. And they never connect the dots. They never suspect their quiet, private habit could be part of the problem. It starts off feeling good. Relief, release, relaxation. But then, an hour later, or the next morning, you feel foggy, tired, unmotivated, maybe even a little off. No one warned you about this part. But if you're over 60, what you're experiencing is very real. A hormonal crash. Here's what's happening inside your body. Every time you climax, your brain releases a surge of feel-good chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, and prolactin. This rush is powerful. Euphoric, even. But right after that, your system goes into recovery mode. Especially after 60, when your testosterone levels are already lower, frequent self-stimulation can cause a temporary drop in testosterone, increased feelings of lethargy or brain fog, mood swings or mild depression, and in some cases, even difficulty focusing or sleeping. Why? Because your aging body can no longer bounce back the way it once did. When you were younger, your hormone levels rebalanced quickly. But now? Each release takes more energy, more resources, leaving less fuel in the tank afterward. And when this becomes a habit, daily, or even multiple times a week, your body may struggle to keep up. The result? Loss of motivation, fatigue, and a quiet sense that something's off inside. You may live alone. You may be widowed, divorced, or simply prefer solitude. But that doesn't mean you've stopped needing emotional connection. And here's where the hidden danger lies. Many seniors turn to masturbation not just for physical release, but to fill an emotional gap. It becomes a habit of comfort, a routine that feels safe, familiar, and private. But over time, without even realizing it, some begin to replace real human connection with this solitary act. And the result? A growing sense of isolation, a subtle loss of interest in companionship, even discomfort or avoidance of emotional closeness. Because with each self-pleasure session, the brain releases oxytocin, the same chemical tied to bonding, trust, and intimacy. But when this chemical is released without real human connection, the brain becomes satisfied in the short term, yet starved in the long term. You may not even notice it at first, but you begin to withdraw, to feel less curious about others, less open to touch, conversation, or shared laughter. It's something few want to talk about, and even fewer realize is connected. But if you've noticed small leaks when coughing, sneezing, or even laughing, the problem may not just be age. It might be tied to a part of your body you've never considered: your pelvic floor. Now, what does this have to do with masturbation? Everything. The pelvic floor is a group of muscles that supports your bladder, bowel, and sexual organs. Each time you engage in climax, especially with repeated or intense stimulation, these muscles contract and release. But over time, especially after 60, these muscles begin to weaken naturally. And frequent stimulation without proper recovery can exhaust them further. What happens next? You may notice less control over your bladder, a weaker urine stream, or even light leaking when you least expect it. Some seniors mistake this for just aging. But it's actually a sign that your pelvic muscles are being overused and undersupported. And this can slowly lead to incontinence, a feeling of heaviness in the pelvic region. And for some, less sexual pleasure over time. After all these warnings, you may be asking one honest, human question. So, should I stop? The answer, dear elder, isn't black or white. It's not about guilt. It's about wisdom. Here's what every respected doctor and geriatric health expert will tell you. Masturbation after 60 is not dangerous in itself. What makes it harmful is how often, how intensely, and how you feel afterward. If it leaves you feeling exhausted instead of relaxed, lonely instead of comforted, foggy instead of peaceful, then it's time to reflect. Because at this stage of life, every act should support your vitality, not drain it. Here's the balanced truth. White heavy checkmark: masturbation is natural. White heavy checkmark: it can be healthy, in moderation. White heavy checkmark: but it should not replace connection, or ignore body signals. Want to protect your heart? Space it out. Feeling tension in your pelvis? Take a break. Notice bladder changes? Strengthen your pelvic floor with simple exercises. And most importantly, don't make it a habit of loneliness. Don't let it replace the laughter of friends, the touch of companionship, or the peace of spiritual stillness. Your body has served you through storms and sunrises. Now is the time to listen to it, honor it, and act with grace. Pleasure should lift you, not leave you feeling lower. And remember, your strength now is not in what you can do, but in how wisely you choose to do it.